I wanted to start with seed selection and how to choose your seeds and what kind of seeds there are out there. So the first one we always hear about is kind of the bad one, GMO, so genetically modified organisms, they're called. And what they do with these seeds is they take different varieties and different cultures and put them together. And a lot of times these big companies like Monsanto will do that so they can get away with spraying pesticides on them and to do different things that are not organic. So that's the first seed is the GMO. The next one would be hybrid. With hybrid seeds, there's usually a cross-pollination between parent seeds. So when they're growing, a lot of times they tell us not to grow yellow corn with white corn or blue corn because they cross-pollinate. But when that happens, it turns into a hybrid. And when you see the seed packet, a lot of times it'll tell you F1, F2, F3, all the way up to like 8. And so that's the generations of how many times it's grown out. So the first generation, it'll oftentimes go back to the mother plant or the parent plant. So the more the older the F is, F2, F3, all the way up to F8, the more you're going to get the same kind of plant. The next one would be open pollinated heirloom seeds, and that's what a lot of our native seeds are that have been passed down from generation to generation and that are kind of accustomed to the local area. And these are probably our favorite seeds because these ones are the ones that grow for us. I get a lot of my seeds from Baker Creek heirloom seeds. They're the heirloom seeds. And there's different places like Johnny's, and then there's Native Seed Search. I think if they have applications. If you want to apply, you can get a certain amount of free seeds. And a lot of them are from these regions, from the native regions. So they're acclimated to these areas. And again, some of these seeds are the best seeds for our area and our region. When you're planting, so you have your planting calendar, we usually go by the last frost date or the first frost date, depending on if you're in spring or fall and how long your season is. And then if you have a season extender, or if you have wall of waters, or if you're starting inside the house, you don't need a greenhouse. You can use a little rotisserie box that has a little cover, and that's really a cheap way to start. These ones are called 10-20 flats. They're 10 inches this way and then 20 inches this way. And I usually get them from Greenhouse Megastore, or if you go to Walmart, you can buy the ones that they have there. And those also, they have the greenhouse covers too at Walmart. When you plant the little seedlings, I usually will cover them up a little bit and make sure that the seedlings are covered just a little bit. And then mine have the holes on the bottom. So I put them in the tables, and that soaks it up. These ones, these big ones that they brought, they don't have holes on the bottom, but those are good for starting inside. So these don't have holes on the bottom. This one does. And you can buy the two different ones, and you have to make sure that you get the right one. So yeah, again, this one is just the one that I would use to poke down, and it gives me all my holes at one time. I did bring some seedlings here to show you how to start. These are called season extenders, and this is a season extender as well. But it still gets really cold at night, and it'll still freeze. So depending on your crop, whether it's a cool weather crop or a warm weather crop, then you'll be able to get away with different varieties like lettuce, kale, spinach are really cool weather crops. Squashes, melons, corn, stuff like that are warm weather crops, so you're going to want to wait a little longer and make sure that it's not going to mature until it's ready to go outside. Before the last frost, we take our plants out for 2 weeks and put them in the shade house, so that it lets them get stronger without putting them directly outside into the soil. Because if you take them right out into the soil, a lot of times they'll get wind blasted and they'll kind of die. For us at JG Farms, we do thousands of seedlings a year. So I make my own tools to help me plant these things. So this guy is a press. So I have over 20 lines of rows, and every inch I can put a seed. So I can get over 200 and something seedlings out of this, depending on the seed. Like he said, if it's a small seed, then we plant it like that. If it's a larger seed like watermelon or squash, I can plant them in there. And then we also have the 3x3s. So if you're not at this scale and you don't want to plant like that, you can use a little popsicle stick and so it'll give me the holes like that. And once your seedlings come up, it'll have its first leaves and then its second leaves, and the second leaves is when it's the true leaves, and that's what these guys have. They're almost at their third leaves or fourth leaves now, so they're really ready to go. And you can use a fork. I used a popsicle stick. You can see the roots. Right now, I wouldn't put it right into the sand. And then, like Felix was saying earlier, you can just sprinkle it on your beds, and it'll come out like this. For this type of lettuce, and it'll just be really lush throughout your bed. And what we have at the farm is a greens harvester, so it has a drill on there, and we just go, and it has blades, so we'll just go along and give it a haircut and then put it in a bin. So we harvest a lot at a time. Labeling is really important, to know what your plant is. If you're going to a market like what we do, we have to know what that plant is and what variety it is. And then also putting a date on it, so you develop a log if you wanted to see what's working, what's not working, what the best time was to plant, just as a reference.